a while since we haven't heard that music. It's Belly Bongo's music. It's that. All right, so hello everyone. Welcome to the MustacheAndTheBeard.com. Two great geeks
changing the world one post at a time.
We're here to do our Get Out of Jail Free video, which we haven't done one in a few months. Mm-hmm. This is our number 10.
Which means that we've been in jail.
For a while, yes.
For a while.
We haven't been able to get out of jail for a while. But it's like that Monopoly card. Once you get it, you're like,
Free pass.
Yes.
Free pass.
All right, so this used to be part of our Red Capers video. That's what originally it was. Because the Red Capers were every week. And so we needed to fill up a little more. But now they're monthly, so we have to make this its own video. What's a Get Out of Jail video, free video?
It's everything that we do to get out of jail. It's actually everything that we do to get out of doing what we're supposed to be doing. Cleaning, cooking,
Eating,
you know, all that great stuff. Chores.
working, all equivalent to jail.
Yeah, all the stuff that we do to get out of doing our chores.
Yeah, so it's reading books and comic books, watching movies and TV shows, writing about these things.
Yeah.
So it's that Monopoly card to get out of jail free.
Free.
Yay, we're out of jail! And so my name is Louis Matos. I am the Mustache, as always. Here, excited to do another video, and I'm here with my best buddy,
Senor Figueroa, aka The Beard, coming to you live from sunny Puerto Rico. And it is sunny today. Nice day. No rain in the forecast. It's good to be alive.
Yes.
It's good to be alive.
So, as always, we do Get Out of Jail is to tell a little bit about what we've been doing to get out of jail.
Right.
So, why don't you start us off with something that you've done to get out of jail?
Alrighty. I came across the two Beatles movies. 1964, 1965. Right? The first one was A Hard Day's Night, and the second one was Help. And being a big Beatle fan,
Oh, it wasn't Yellow Submarine?
that was late. That was later.
Later
But
Beatles.
apparently, they had said they made a 3-picture deal, and A Hard Day's Night and Help satisfied the first two. They were in arrears as to the third picture, but they were past wanting to do a movie, so the Yellow Submarine as an animated film was the compromise.
Okay.
The compromise satisfied that 3-picture deal. But this is A Hard Day's Night is black and white. It's a black and white movie.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's a black and white movie, and it's really fun. Basically, what it is the screenwriter traveled with the Beatles for several weeks to get to know them and to see what their world was like, and then he wrote 2 days in the life of the Beatles. Right? They're supposed to be making a television appearance, right? And it's all about what it was like to be the Beatles. And because they're so naturally funny and naturally witty, that he actually wrote down their responses during a press conference, and he incorporates it into the movie. For example, one of the reporters asked John Lennon, because they had just come back, the Beatles had just come back from America in their first trip, their first tour of America. So they asked John, how did you find America? And he said, we turned left at Greenland. Is that so? And that's unrehearsed.
Yeah, dry.
Yeah, that's. They asked Ringo, what are you, a mod or a rocker? And he said, I'm a mocker. that is that sort of stuff. So everything incorporated in this, all the comedy, and it is funny. It comes actually from them. And then the MacGuffin in the movie is that Paul has to bring his grandfather with him. And the grandfather is a made-up grandfather. It's a British comedian playing his grandfather, and when they show him, they say, "Who's that old man?" They're in a train, one of the British trains go from city to city, and they're in it, and they say, "Who's the old man?" He says, "That's my grandfather." And George says, "No, he's not. I've been to your house. I know who your grandfather is." He says, "No, this is my other grandfather." And he says, how do you figure? He says, "Well, everybody's allowed two." So then the whole thing is, the running joke is that he's so clean. So John looks at him and he says, "He's a clean old man. Instead of being a dirty old man, he's a clean old man. But he's a troublemaker." Paul calls him a mixer. And so he is the MacGuffin. He's the one that keeps the story moving because of all the trouble that he causes. Hilarious movie. I believe Richard Lester is the director, and he went on to do The Three Musketeers and Superman. So it's a great movie. I recommend it. It's funny. It's great songs, and you really get to see what it was like to be one of the Beatles. On the other hand, Help, completely different. A lot of people say that the TV show The Monkees was inspired by A Hard Day's Night. No, it was inspired by Help. Help is this outlandish, off-the-wall chase movie. Supposedly there's this cult of Kali that are going to do a human sacrifice, and they realize that the person who they're supposed to sacrifice is not wearing the sacrificial ring. So where's the ring? And then they show Ringo drumming, and he's wearing the ring. So the whole movie, this cult is trying to kill Ringo because he's got and he's trying to stay alive. It's wild. It's a romp. Everything is done for laughs in its own way. It's also very funny and fun to watch. So I enjoy it. I had seen these movies when they first came out, but damn, I was like 10, 11 years old. So watching it again was a thrill for me, and I've always been a Beatles fan. So I recommend Hard Day's Night and Help to all of you out there in Google land.
Where'd you see them?
I believe it was on Tubi.
Okay.
I believe it was on Tubi.
So Tubi, look for those two.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I did. What did you do to get
Okay, one of the things that I did was, if you recall in Red Capers number 60, I said two things that I wanted to do for this month, which I have not yet covered. So I'm going to cover them today. One of the things I teased was the Howling trilogy. So I'm going to start with a book, big book series, trilogy. The Howling trilogy by Gary Brandner was written in the late 70s and the early 80s. Obviously, we saw the movie. I saw the movie first, and I was like, oh, you know what, let me buy the books. I'm not going to talk about the movie because it is, it's one of those movies that's groundbreaking, at least in my mind, for especially werewolves. So I'm going to talk about the book because the book is a lot slower than a movie. The Howling is about a woman, Karen, and her husband, Roy. Karen is raped in the beginning chapters of The Howling. So trigger warning for anybody that doesn't like rape.
I mean, anybody likes rape.
Yeah, I know, but if it's a trigger, well, I'm telling you it's a trigger warning.
Yeah, just if you're one of those people that this is really upsetting.
Yeah, the description is graphic and intense, but it's a short description, but still, it made me uncomfortable. And I'm a big horror fan, but it's horror, so you just have to accept that. It made me uncomfortable, but I went with it. Luckily, like I said, it's brief. Karen becomes frigid as a consequence of her PTSD, which you understand. Karen and her husband go away to a town called Drago in order to reconnect near nature, taking their little Pekingese dog with them. But little did they know that Drago is a haven for werewolves. They experience the temptations of becoming werewolves. There's animal dismemberment, so another trigger warning. Some of the characters in the book 1 make it into book 2. With book 2 becoming a revenge narrative, the survivors of Drago go after the surviving protagonists. So you have the survivors of book 1, the good guys and the bad guys, they go at it again in book 2. Book 3 is completely different because it's just, once that story is completed, they go on to the survivors, a few other survivors of Drago that we didn't know about.
Right.
So it's like it's a totally other book. I don't know, a whole other series. I don't know why they used it. But if I were to rate each book, I would tell you that book 1 is 4 out of 5 Grey Geeks. Book 2 is 3 out of 5 Grey Geeks. And book 3 is 3 out of 5 Grey Geeks. So all in total for the trilogy, which is $6.99 on Amazon right now for the Kindle, you would get 3.5 Grey Geeks, thereabouts, and I recommend it.
That ain't bad.
No, it's very good, actually.
Yeah, very good.
I got it for 99 cents. So once Halloween is over, I'm sure the price is going to go down because they mark it up for Halloween because they know people want to read and see horror movies during this time. So I recommend it. Hang on till after Halloween, so this way you can get it cheaper. And so, again, 3.5 Grey Geeks, I think it's a good deal.
Yeah.
I loved it. And it's, again, like I said, groundbreaking werewolf-type movie.
All right.
All right, so now you do something else that you...
Okay,
What else did you do to get out of jail? Free!
I actually watched 3 movies. I came across this trilogy made by, started by a producer by the name of Ivan Torres, right? In the 1950s, he was very into sci-fi, but he wanted to make intelligent sci-fi movies, right? Eventually, he gets turned off by the way that sci-fi movies became in the 1950s, right? The very cartoony, very pablum, and so he abandoned sci-fi and went underwater. He did a TV show called Sea Hunt with Lloyd Bridges that was on like forever, and he did Flipper, and he also did. He was also in charge of all the underwater photography and all the underwater scenes for Thunderball. Okay, James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Then and doing Flipper, he became enamored of animals. So he began doing, producing movies with animals that would lead to TV shows. So, for example, the TV show Doctari with Clarence the Cross-Eyed Lion. It was based on a movie called Clarence the Cross-Eyed Lion, and of course there's Flipper, and he also did that movie I was telling you about, Africa Texas Style, which became the TV show Cowboy in Africa. So he did a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff, a lot not so good stuff, but that's usually how it goes. He did, in the 50s, he did a trilogy. The first movie was Magnetic Monster. The second one was Riders to the Stars. And the last one was God. And the underlying, what tied these 3 movies together was he created a concept called the Office of Scientific Investigation, the OSI. And so the OSI is what ties these 3 movies together. Not that it's the same character, it was the same office, and the protagonist in each movie belongs to this organization, even though the protagonists are different in each movie. I came across Magnetic Monster, watched it, liked it, And in reading up about it, I'm writing a review. I came across this whole thing about the OSI, so I watched Riders to the Stars, and I watched God, right? Liked them too, but I have to warn you, there's really nothing in common. Magnetic Monster is pretty much a monster movie. Riders to the Stars is a space opera where they're mining meteors, and God is a killer robot movie. But it is done by Ivan Torres and Richard Carlson. You remember Richard Carlson from Creature from the Black Lagoon? He's the star of Magnetic Monster, and he's a co-star in Riders to the Stars, and directed Riders to the Stars. So I recommend these movies. The 1950s sci-fi, but it's intelligent sci-fi. It's not kid stuff. The only problem I have is that they're a little uneven because of the fact that they're three completely different stories, different type stories, and there's no continuing character, which to me, I would like to. You should have had a director of OSI who would appear as the director, sending his people out in each movie. The OSI is mentioned in every movie, and they mention that they work for the OSI, but that's it. That's it. So I think I would have preferred having like a chief or something that would be a unifying factor for all three movies. But I liked all three movies, and I recommend them. I'd give them each at least 4 or 4.5.
Wow, all of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they are intelligent. It's intelligent sci-fi. It's sort of like Forbidden Planet or them. It's on that level. It's not prehistoric woman from Venus. It's not that kind
cheesy.
It's not that cheesy kind of sci-fi. The Magnetic Monster has a very interesting thing that in combating the monster, the first half of the movie takes place entirely in the United States, and it has that 1950s California style. And it's a black and white movie. But if you've seen a lot of these movies, you know that there's a certain look. But then they wind up moving to Canada because Canada has something that, I don't want to give it away, but it has something that will kill the monster. So that the action moves to Canada, and all of a sudden the feel of the movie and the look of the movie changes to like 1950s British movie. It looks completely different. The feel of the movie becomes completely different. And then at the end, they're back in California. Now it looks like California again. It really struck me, and so I actually like that. So I do recommend this. You can find it out there. I found them on Amazon Prime, so you can find it out there, and I recommend it.
Yeah. I think Magnetic Monster is free on Amazon.
Yeah, it's free on Amazon. I think God is free too. I'm not sure about Riders to the Stars. I think I saw Riders to the Stars on YouTube. So what else did you do to get out of jail free?
Well, I talked about a book series. Now I'm going to talk about a TV series. Z Nation was a sci-fi show that I had high hopes for. Way back in 2014, I think it was, that I saw it being promoted on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I was like, hey, it looks good, it looks interesting, I'll check it out. But after watching the first episode, I decided to never watch it again.
Oh, wow.
Because there was a zombie baby.
God, I hate moral dilemmas. I give you mercy.
And it was played for laughs. The first episode. And so I was like, this is a comedy. They're not taking it serious. So that it was so ridiculous that I was like, forget that. If you can't take the zombie apocalypse serious, then screw that.
And then how was zombie baby?
Yeah. So, well, recently I saw that there are 5 seasons
Wow.
on Netflix. So I was like, wait a second. This can't be the same show that had that zombie baby as a joke in the beginning. So I started watching it because of Geektoberfest, right? Wanted to watch something horror. So I decided to give it another chance. And after I watched the first episode, I watched the second episode. I was like, okay, it got a little more serious. I mean, they have gags, but you know, it's like a superhero movie, right? It's serious, but you play tongue in cheek for most of it. So earlier this month, like I said, I started watching Z Nation, and I have grown to love these characters because it has heart. Kalita Smith is black. She's the leader of the team. So seeing a minority character being the lead is like, okay. And it's a woman, too. Then there's Pisay Pao, as I think she's Asian. I think also she's Thai. The actress is Thai. So I don't know if she's, if that's because I've only seen the first season. I have only watched the first season, but I'm enjoying it a great deal. Yes, some of the stories are tongue-in-cheek, but everything is done with heart. Main characters have died, so I mean, there is some serious things to this. Secondary characters have to step up, and now they're the lead. Several years into the zombie apocalypse, this is now the story. Several years into the zombie apocalypse, a prisoner that was experimented on is the only person to have survived zombie bites. His name is Murphy, and he is known as the last, the only person to have survived the zombie bites. The last functioning lab in the country is in California. If humanity is to survive, they have to figure out a way to get this guy from New York to California. And that's, I think, what the 5 seasons are. If humanity, his antibodies might provide the key to humanity's survival. So a group of survivors is tasked by Citizen Z. Citizen Z is an NSA person who is in Alaska, or I don't know if he's in the Antarctic. He is all by himself. He's all by himself. He's in a bunker, last surviving NSA, who is able to see the satellites and connect. So he connects with the group that is taking Murphy to California all the time. Like they'll go to a public telephone and pick it up, and he'll be able to connect because he's NSA. So it's really cool, that aspect. He's a guy alone, so he has his own issues. And then, of course, the survivors have to try and navigate a world filled with zombies. Really loved. I'm shocked. I'm gonna say I'm shocked that I really enjoyed that first season because I said like that first cheesy beginning. I think they immediately saw. We really need to make this a little more serious. So yeah, I say 4 Grey Geeks for the first season. I intend to keep watching it, but the first season really. I was shocked at how good it was, and I'm happy that I started watching it. So, T-Nation. The last thing that you're going to talk about.
Okay, I watched... Ever. Oh, God. You jinxed me.
I cursed you.
You cursed me. I watched The War of the Worlds, 1953.
Awesome. That's a movie.
Yeah, again, because, Geektoberfest, and this is, it's sci-fi, but it's monsters, it's alien invasion, and it's led to so many other stuff, and it stars Gene Barry, and I'm a Gene Barry fan. Bat Masterson, Burke's Law, Amos Burke's Secret Agent, and a whole slew of movies. I always liked Gene Barry, so it started very young Gene Barry. So I saw it. I have a new site, a new free movie site called Free Movies, and they had it, so I decided to watch it in honor of the Oktoberfest, and I enjoyed it. I had seen it before, but this is one of those movies where I had seen decades ago when I was a kid, and so I didn't remember anything. I didn't. All I remembered was that it's War of the Worlds and Gene Barry. So I watched it. It's a sci-fi alien invasion movie of aliens from Mars. And the Martians come and they attack the Earth, and it's exciting, and it's extremely interesting because unlike a lot of these 50s alien invasion movies, we do not beat them, okay? We do not beat them. I'm not going to say how they get beaten. Mm-hmm. They do get beaten.
Yeah, if you read the story, you should know how they got beaten.
We didn't beat them. So I found that extremely interesting, and it's exciting. The special effects are great for its time.
50s?
Oh, and in color. Oh my God! It was 1953. Beautiful. I love the movie. It has a lot of heart. The movie has a lot of heart. The only thing I dislike is that the female lead is a typical damsel in distress. She has no function but to scream, faint, and get rescued. That's all the entirety.
And to get kissed.
And to get kissed. Okay? That's the and believe me, she's an attractive woman, an extremely attractive woman. But all she does is scream. All she does is faint, right? And you know, I was to a point where I was like, Gene, just leave her there. You go on, and just leave her there. But of course, you know, he being the hero, he had to be heroic and had to keep saving her. And so one thing I didn't like about the movie. One thing, but other than that, I recommend it. I would give it 4 great geeks, and then like I said before, it led to so much more. I mean, there's been TV shows, American and British TV shows based on this movie. There's a remake with Tom Cruise. It really is
radio broadcasts.
Oh, my radio broadcast that started a panic. Orson Welles, 1 million people. It is estimated that 1 million people thought it was real and panicked. 1938, Halloween, 1938. So it is iconic, and so I recommend it. I recommend it. If you haven't seen it, watch it. And if you're like me, and it's been decades since you've seen it, watch it again because you'll love it.
For what men first thought were meteors or the often ridiculed flying saucers are in reality the flaming vanguard of the invasion from Mars.
Looks like they're going to come out of that gully pretty soon. We'll have to rush our defenses to be ready when they do.
Going to need plenty of reinforcements.
We'll get them. Lieutenant, look!
They slash across country like scythes, wiping out everything that's trying to get away from them.
That explains why communication is cut the moment their machines begin moving.
Montreal's blacked out. Nothing more's come through.
Same thing that happened on the Pacific coast. Anything from them yet?
No, Mr. Secretary, we've had nothing from San Francisco for over 5 hours.
The nations of the world mobilize their armed might, rushing to defend the Earth against the unknown weapons of the super race from the Red Planet. Is there nothing that can stop the Martian death machines?
Guns, tanks, bombs. They're like toys against them.
We know now that we can't beat their machines.
got to beat them.
All over the world, human beings cower before the onslaught of these unearthly enemies, whom no one has ever seen.
And your final item?
In Red Caper 60, I teased the movie Sorority Rose 2009. And the whole month has passed, and I haven't, even though I've written a couple of reviews, I didn't write this one as a review. Because I kept this one, it's hard because this is a remake of the 1982 The House on Sorority Row, which for most people is one of the top slashers of the 1980s. Along with Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Child's Play. Sorority Row has Brianna Evigan, daughter of Greg Evigan. Very pretty girl. It also has Rumor Willis, daughter of Demi and Bruce. Jamie Chung, Leah Pipe. Jamie Chung is a gorgeous little girl. Leah Pipes, Margot Harshman, if you know The Big Bang Theory, and Brina Patridge, and Caroline D'Amore, and lest I forget, Carrie Fisher. She's the sorority mom. All right, and she gets a chance.
And she herself was a daughter of
Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds.
Debbie Reynolds.
Okay. So yeah, and she's done a lot of stuff, but we all know her as geeks, as Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that she's done The Burbs and Postcards from the Edge, Soap Dish, Hannah and Her Sisters, all serious stuff, but the nerds, us geeks, know her as Princess Leia. The sorority is filled with sisters that don't always behave like sisters. In fact, there's a prank that goes horribly wrong. One of the sisters is killed, and the other 6 decide to keep it quiet. This is the inciting event. Keeping the wrongful death a secret causes a killer to go after the other sisters on graduation night. It starts by a video being taken that had been taken on the night that the girl was killed, being circulated among the women to scare them. And I, oh, shoot, look. The movie is bloody and gory, so that has one thing that's going for it. It gives you a little whodunit action, which you always like in one of these movies. The kills are well done. The climax takes place in a burning building, which adds to the intensity of the situation. Carrie Fisher is the den mother, so she gets an opportunity to kick ass with a shotgun, which is real. She's a badass, It's got a satisfying ending with the potential for more, which like all of them are, right? The bad guy dies in the end, but does he really die? So, but I say 4 gray geeks, and the only reason I give it 4 gray geeks because the other one is better, the 82 version, right? But I didn't want to hold it too much against this movie because it's really well done for a slasher in the present. We don't get to see enough slashers in the present, So I think that this would be a good way to revive and start more slashers.
What was the year for this one?
This movie was 2009. So it was like, again, it's 11 years ago, but, so they intended to make more. I don't know if that's still in the works. Because now you're talking about all of these young actresses are now 10 years older.
Right.
So if they were in their 20s, they're now going to be in their 30s. So yeah.
And Carrie Fisher ain't even with us anymore.
Correct. So yeah, this is my last one. I really like this a lot. So watch it. It's on Amazon for free.
Yay!
Someone is killing the sisters of Theta Pi.
She's really dead. What are we gonna do?
It is someone they know.
Is that you?
Someone they trust.
Oh my god.
Someone they'll never see coming. Sorority Row.
Okay, before we go any further, I just want to bring up one thing. Okay? Don't forget to vote. We're voting for our Horror Hall of Fame. We have a video out there with all the nominations. Please, don't forget to vote.
We've had some good turnout with the voting, but we could always use more.
More, absolutely.
All right, so it's come to the point in the program where we always say we're approaching the end, and before we approach the end, I always like to ask you to give us a wise missive.
Okay, and I have a wise missive for you.
Okay.
And my wise missive is this. Stop thinking too much. It's all right not to know all the answers. Sometimes there is no answer. Not going to be any answer. Never has been an answer. That's the answer. Just accept it and move on. Next.
With that having been said, we always are grateful that you watch our videos, so we thank you for watching. If you've liked what you've seen, please subscribe.
Hit that like button.
Yes, don't forget to press that like
Hit
button.
that like button.
If you feel like you need to make a comment, we always appreciate comments.
If you have ideas, if there's things that you would like us to cover, we're open to suggestions.
Yes.
Please let us know.
November Nouveau is coming up, and November Nouveau means we're going to be looking at newer properties, either movies, comic book,
Right, 2000 on.
to the present. All right, so as always, like I said, we thank you for watching. My name is Louis Matos. I am the Mustache.
I'm Junior Figueroa. I beat the beard.
We say see you later.
Hasta la vista.
Take it easy.
And peace.